Well, guess what, family? I'm back. What's going on, family? Checking in with you for season 2. I know it was almost like a 2-week layover. I was dying and itching to get back, but there were things I'm still working out, and I said, you know what? We can't get into the perfect mindset of wanting it to be perfected and to be perfect. So we had to get back to work, and getting back to work to continue to hone my craft and my gift. But I know that's not what you're here for. I got some amazing content for you today. I hope that you enjoy it. Then I'll come in, and you know what I do. I get that commentary. I give you that real life, that actual in the passenger seat of life type feedback. So with no further ado, let's get to business. For season 2, we're looking at doing probably 250 episodes. So I hope that you guys enjoy this journey for season 2. Season 2, baby, we here. Let's get it.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game.
Against all obstacles. Black people,
You're here right now at this moment because tomorrow you want to be somebody greater than the person you are today. You see yourself succeeding, you have a vision, you have a dream. Congratulations. You're already 10 steps ahead of 95% of the world. Imagine if Michael Jordan was scared of missing. He would have never taken a shot. Imagine if Steve Jobs was afraid of people not liking his product. There would be no iPhone. So ask yourself this. Do you want to be a person who fears failure, or do you want to be a person who loves success? Which one? Because you're going to have to pick today. And I'll tell you one thing. One is a failure, and one is a success. And if you love success, there is nothing that can stop you. All those negative things people say will mean nothing. They're going to talk about how only 1% make it to the top. Big deal. Want to know something else? Only 1% stick with that fitness program long enough to see results. Only 1% of nerds stick with that video game long enough to get good at it. Only 1% of relationships stick it out to the end. That doesn't mean you have a 1% chance. It just means you can't behave like the 99%. You'll have to do something better than giving up a month from now. Those are just numbers. You want to talk about numbers? Take a look around you, and take a good look around you. Are you like 99% of the people around you? If you are, then you're in the wrong video, my friend. You have to love success just as much, because that's what's going to allow you to get up and go for it. Being scared to fail won't do anything. In fact, when you love success and you start going for it, guess what happens? You're going to fail. You're going to fail 10 times, 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times. But that's okay. Failure isn't permanent. Falling isn't permanent. You get right back up and keep going. And this time, you're going to be stronger, wiser, and you'll be more driven than ever. And for every 10 failures, you'll land 1 success. You have to love success so much that you're willing to fail 10 times before you can succeed once. That's how a winner does it.
First half, I'm not gonna lie. They had us. We weren't defeated, but they had us. But it took guts, it took an attitude. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to be successful is an attitude. And that's what our coach told us. He said, hey, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna battle, you're gonna fight, you're gonna do it for one another. Do it for each other, you're gonna do it for yourself, you're gonna do it for us, and you're gonna go out with this win. And we believe that, we truly did. And it's an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling when you truly believe that you're going to be successful. Regardless of the situation, regardless of the scoreboard, you're going to be successful because you put in all the time, all the effort.
Misses that shot, can't land it. So it is going to be that retake scenario. Crims has the kill.
Holding close towards CT. Zivnik spots 3 of them out, but it's Olof again to find Device. And Olof coming in with 4. He wants the ace, and he gets it. There we go. What a superstar performance from that man.
I was walking down the street and I saw an old man. Had a hat, suspenders, and a cane. Was about 80 years old. This old man was barely walking. He could walk, but the cane helped a lot. He was struggling. So anyway, he was walking across the street and he ended up falling. So I went over to go help him. And he gets up, says thank you, and we introduced ourselves. Had a little conversation. Told me his name and I told him mine. His name was Robert, by the way. And right as he walked away, I told him, this is what I said. Robert, you should stay inside where it's safe, my friend. And Robert turns around and says to me, I love walking, and I love walking way more than I'm afraid of falling. So I asked him, well, what about your safety? Don't you want to live? And he told me this. These are the exact words he said. He said this: Solo, living means doing what you love to do. And if I have to fall here and there to do what I want to do in life, then so be it. And he just walked away. Never saw him again. That was it. But that statement really had me thinking, and it had me thinking hard, because I learned something that day. That's when I realized the true key to success. You see, I always thought if I could just fear the act of failing, and if I fear it like crazy, I will succeed. Because I thought the fear would magically motivate me to get out there and start taking action. But after that day, I realized something. I realized it's the love for success that will lead me to succeeding. So just imagine if Robert feared falling. Would he even start walking? Of course not. He wouldn't even do what he loved to do. He would sit at home and take no type of action. But he loved walking. Wasn't even scared to fall. It gave him life. That's what allowed him to get up and do it. He loved walking so much, he was willing to fall 10 times a day just to do it. And you have to be the same. So the next time someone tells you, you're gonna fail, you know what you tell them? Tell them they're right. But you're not afraid to fail. You're not afraid to take action. You're not afraid to jump. You're gonna fail 10 times, but you know what? It's cool. Because on the 11th time, you'll succeed. Oh, you'll succeed, all right. And it'll feel good. And while you're over here living the life of your dreams and complete happiness, guess where they're gonna be? That's right. They'll be failures, the real failures, over there where it's safe, scared to fail. Ironic, isn't it?
It's hard to be comfortable with yourself, so it's very hard to be comfortable with other people. That's why I always stress with people, like, you've got to accept yourself for what you've done wrong. Do your best, and also find some difficult shit to do, because that gets away a lot of the anxiety that you carry around in your body. A lot of difficult things make regular life less difficult. And that sounds so simplistic. The strain of making yourself do those things It's very valuable. It's not just valuable like exercise and fitness and martial arts and running and whatever you're doing that's really difficult. It's not just valuable in terms of like health and the way you look, but it's also valuable for your mind, maybe even more so. Because regular life can be confusing, and little things that go wrong and little problems that arise are exacerbated by the fact that you're not accustomed to dealing with hardship. So creating your own bullshit is extremely valuable for you also, not just accepting the nuanced perspectives of other people, but also being able to navigate through this world with some sort of an understanding of just how complex it all is and how weird it all is, and not be overly thrown off by every little dip in the road and pothole that you encounter. Everybody's got these stupid barriers they put in their own head. You got to resist those god things because they don't do you any good, and they certainly define the potential for your future in a negative way. It's not self-serving, and it's not even real. You know, you put this artificial ceiling on the potential for what you're doing. If you hit a wall, okay, that just means you need to regroup and rethink. It doesn't mean that wall's there, especially when it comes to something like social media or like a podcast, something where you're putting out a piece of art. You're putting out something that you've created. There's no wall as far as like how many people are going to enjoy it or how far it's going to go. It's just, it is what it is. And if people don't like it, make it better. If they like it less, fix that. Figure out a way to do it. You can do that. And this idea that there's no way to get past the starting block today is just ludicrous. It's crazy. And it's just this poor thing.
If you're new to the Impact Secret Podcast Show, welcome to the family. To my existing family, as always, big up. Thank you for joining. On this podcast show, we shift the mindset through inspiration, motivation, with a standing foundation of self-discipline. I am your respectful host, ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, listen, that just simply means Ed. Now, we got a motto, a slogan, things that we live by here at the show. Bet on yourself. You won't win unless you get in the game and play. Another thing that we also have embraced here, living means doing what you love to do, even if you have to fall to get back up. Again, living means doing what you love to do, even if you have to fall to get back up. A quote that has really arrested my attention, and I hope that it arrests yours for season number 2. We're still going to go with it because it's hot. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. Bob Marley. You know, I like to ask one question and 2 thought-provoking statements. The first question is this: what steps are you going to do to get out your own way? Again, what steps are you going to do to get out your own way? First thought-provoking statement: 8 critical tasks. 8 critical tasks. That's inspired by Andy's program, The 75 Hard. And then the second statement is the perfect plan. Again, the perfect plan. Today's episode is entitled Get Out Your Head and Step Into Your Greatness. That's inspired by Les Brown. Again, get out of your own head and step into your greatness. Well, family, we have a lot to unpack, and I won't keep you long. I know every time I say that, I go longer. So for season 2, I'm going to work on trying to keep this not really about keeping it short, but keeping it so concise and to the point. But don't hold me to that every time, because you know how I get down when I start getting excited. But family, there were some things that were going on that, and maybe you picked up on it and maybe you didn't, but I'm going to call it out because, again, here is about experiencing. It's about the life lessons. It's about actually having the ability to say, man, that wasn't what I wanted it to be, but I'm going to make it better. See, family, when I was playing the various audio clips, I used some new technology, which allowed me to remove, because some of the audio clips had these loud bass thumping, but that didn't fit the actual the actual clip, and I was like, oh, this is kind of off. So I had used this software or whatever just to, and I was going to add my overlay of track on it, but I said, you know what, I'll just wait to do that. But anyway, I had made a mistake and I didn't even listen to the whole thing because it said everything was good. I had already listened to it about 3 or 4 times prior to that. And then what happens is when I run it through my system here, for some odd reason, the two just didn't communicate well. And I wanted to stop it, family. I wanted to stop it, especially this is my first episode back since taking a 2-week, I guess stay vacation or whatnot. And I said, you know what? No. I see that, because that's a problem. A lot of times we keep trying to make the situation perfect. And I said, if this doesn't align with today's message, if this doesn't align of what life is in general, see, what we have to understand is there's nothing wrong with tweaking. There is nothing wrong with course correcting. But as we search for perfection, what's the point of even doing this? The point of me doing this is to get better each day. And so the life lesson that I just learned here, just letting everything go, now I know, okay, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go through a couple different steps to understand how can I make the sound better. Do I even just remove the actual beats that are attached to it, or do I go in a different direction? But what it does, it gets me excited because now I have a new opportunity, which will allow me to make sure that I'm still bringing the best product to the market. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to accomplish here is to get better, is to be able to provide value, is to be able to have a product that is worth your time. So that's why I said, wow, this aligned so much. But family, how many times have we gotten in our own way of either, like right then, I could have stopped it and then started it back over and, maybe just use the original clips that I had instead of editing and tweaking it. But if we're trying to go to the next level, if you're trying to go to the next level, don't you need to go through these missteps? But a lot of times we want to avoid these missteps. We want to try to get away from it. And yet the lesson is in those missteps. I'll slow that down because maybe I know it's been a while since you heard my voice and maybe I'm talking too fast. So I say a lot of times the opportunity is in those missteps in which you like, man, I know I could have done that better, but now I'm going to have a chance, God willing, tomorrow to put out another show in which I'm like, okay, maybe I can't tweak it there, or I need to listen to the playback. But what I really want to get into also is those 8 critical tasks of assisting you. Because when I heard this today, I was like, oh man, I got to bring this to the family. And that's why, because I think that'll help with someone who is in their own way, that is someone that is trying to figure this thing out we call life. And as Les Brown talked about, that's why I say it's inspired by Les Brown, of getting out your head and stepping into your greatness. You have to, the way you get out your head of what I've learned is to do the thing that you've been avoiding, or you're saying, oh, I don't have enough this, or I can't do this. I told you guys when I went on break, I was going to be working on the video aspect. I'm also working on a sneaker, brand. I don't want to say brand, but just reselling in sneakers. And so I have to do videos for that. And I was just like, man, everything is not set up the way it was, it was supposed to have been done. What should I do? I said, I got to get back and get back to work and just start doing them just however I can until I can get them to where I need to be. See, again, getting out my own way. And number 2, not trying to have the perfect plan of execution. I am just getting the material out there, knowing over time, I have no choice but to get better. That's another thing, family. the clip that we'll probably be listening to tomorrow was, you know, one of my favorite speakers, which is Les Brown, and he talks about the baby steps. So I'm not gonna to get into that too much, but what I really want to challenge you on is getting out your own way. What I want you to challenge you on is why do we get in our own way? We get in our own way because of the fear externally what people told us we couldn't achieve, or what we seen that looks too hard and challenging. And then once you get in there, you like, you mean I waited this long because I thought it was going to be hard, or someone told me it was going to be challenging, and I just didn't feel like I had the time. I didn't feel like, you know, I had the resources, and, you know, all the excuses that may be valid that we make, but we still don't end up executing. That's why with these 8 critical tasks, one of the things I was frustrated with about myself, family, is when I was working on measuring myself. And what I would do is, and I've shared this with you guys before, I create this. Probably I was just looking at it. I had like 20 items on there on my Excel spreadsheet with formulas and things like that. That basically how it worked is that once I knocked out one of those particular tasks, it would update the dashboard of saying, you know, hey, and I could see day over day and week over week and month over month of how I was performing and on the task that I had assigned to myself. But what I noticed is that I wasn't executing on all of those things. And it was just frustrating. I said, okay, for 7 days, which is starting today, I'm going to really, really just execute on all of those tasks. And then I heard this video, and I think I can't remember his name, but he's a popular YouTuber in photographs and everything. So I'm appreciative. Thank you for putting that video out, because that really helped me understand the focus that is required. Because being a project manager, I'm used to having, you know, a whole bunch of different tasks and just navigating through it. But see, the difference is that the whole thing is, I have a team when you work as a project manager versus when you're doing it on your own. Is yourself. So what I did was I didn't wait to implement what I'm sharing with you today about the 8 critical tasks by Andy. I think it's Andy for real, or Andy, start with Andy F. I know I just say Andy because that's who I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so forgive me for that. But anyway, 75 hard. One of the things is the 8 critical tasks, but where I got the information from is someone that was talking about they decided to do it instead of typing it, because that's what I always done, and I would always type things out. And so I said, okay, let's try it. So I started today, family, and I boil it down to the 8 critical things that has to get done, or the things that are important to me, and how he describes it. And I'll probably give you some more context, because he actually has a audio clip that I'm going to listen to. It's like 20 minutes long. So I'm going to check that out and see if I can get further details. But I didn't need all the details in order to make a decision that I know is going to have an impact in my life. Because if I'm focusing on these 8 critical things, I can add on more there. I mean, I did get a little snippet of what he was saying. It was funny because he's just a funny dude anyway, because that's why I like listening to him, because he's so transparent and honest. And it's not about an honesty of like, oh, I'm just this good guy. It's about an honesty of, hey, I failed here, or hey, this didn't work out like I wanted to, so I had to collaborate. That's the honesty that I love. There are so many fake gurus out here, or so many people that are selling you products that really don't improve your life. Trust me, I've bought the majority of them. I have the receipts, and that's why I do this show. That's why who pumped out 250 episodes in a year, or I should say almost, in about a year or less. And so I'm like, if I keep moving at that pace, I'm again going back to what I said. Eventually, I'm going to get better. Eventually, I'm going to start clipping these bigger people that are. And when I get to the bigger stages, I have to be prepared for treating people the same way I want to be treated. And just because now I've gotten to this success, I understand that the road to get there, but I'll digress on that. So again, let's get back to these 8 critical tasks. So what I've done is every day for the next 7 days, I'm going to test it out. I'll keep you guys updated. And I literally have 8 tasks on here. Now, what I was talking about, where the snippet that I heard is he was saying, don't write a whole bunch of different tasks on me. And that's a challenge for me. So I may have to remix this in a way and say, okay, I'm putting my 8 critical tasks. And then when I accomplish those, I'm creating my own rules, because see, one thing about it is, family, is that creating task lists have been around forever. I even have a book on task lists and things like that. But what Andy did is he customized it. And so now I have to take what he's done and now I have to customize it. And I think it's important of saying, okay, these 8 items that I want to do, I want to get these knocked out, yet I still want to, there's other items that I need to do, but let's focus on these. Don't add anything else to your list until you get these things done. And I'm going to I'm actually probably looking at purchasing a little notebook or something like this. But right now I'm using the Mead notebook paper. Is a good time. School is getting ready to start up. So back to school supplies is a lot of it. You can get one for $1. So I'm challenging you, all family, to make this investment of just trying it for a week. Like I said, 8 critical tasks that you have to do every day. That's going to, now here's the caveat, to push you closer to that goal that you said that you wanted to set. One of my goals is I want to be the number 1 sneaker reseller, and then another one is to be a speaker, as well as provide courses and curriculum and all of these things. So I have to start writing goals that writing task-oriented, actionable things that'll allow me to get there closer, or and not even about quicker, just getting there and being able to accomplish it. And I have financial goals as well, but this is the start. So start here, family. Now, we got that out the way. One thing I will say, family, and I'm about 20 some odd minutes in, but I will say this, and I'll wrap this up. It is such a pleasure to be back, and I'm excited, where this is going, because season 2, we're definitely going to improve, and I'm hoping that as I continue to pump out content that you come check it out. I'm even going to start doing short forms of like some of the things I thought were huge highlights that I can pump out for you guys. You got to follow me on Instagram at Impact Secret Podcast. Again, Impact Secret Podcast. It's in the link. Follow me there, because we're going to start working on that as well. So there's a lot that I want to do, that I have to do, but I have to take the baby steps. I have to be self-disciplined in one particular area so I can move to the next area. So again, like I said, stay tuned for that. But when what I loved about one of those audio clips, it was talking about the 1%, and you hear that a lot. Like the 1%, they this, and most businesses that get started, they fail, and and then you just start asking yourself, if you start looking at everything, and I always tell this to a lot of people, I say, once I understood that life is really about numbers, I look at everything as numbers. You're like, what do you mean, ED? Well, if they're saying there's 1%, like the guy said, then what are the 99% doing? Oh, they're doing that, then that's what I don't want to do. I got to go this way. And I mean, it's just simple math. I mean, whatever someone else is doing that is not reflecting the success that you want to have, then you have to be able to be willing to pivot. If it's something that you're doing and it's not reflecting the success you want to have. Now, keep in mind though, family, I will put this disclaimer there. Disclaimer. A lot of times it's you and I are guilty of this. And that is that we don't stay long enough with the thing that we're doing to see it become fruitful. I've probably picked up multiple things and put it back down, you know, and I was like, and when I look at it, because I still see evidence, as they say, I still see evidence of it in the house. And I'm like, okay. So that's why when I started this podcast, I was like, I have to keep going. I have to be able to get to a point of creating a full production, and we're still not even there yet. Like, I mean, we're really, 250 episodes in, I'm like, we're just literally getting lukewarm. And so just imagine when we get on fire, the advantage we're going to have here is because it's just me. I don't have no staff. I don't have anyone holding the camera it's me learning. And that is the best approach. A lot of times, family, we don't want to be alone and go through this, the pain of trying to figure it out alone. And I'm not saying, and let me be clear there too, it's nothing wrong with asking for help, asking for guidance. But a lot of times, family, if you're doing something that's outside of what your family has done and things like that, you have to at least first get started. And then you can start reaching out, because people are not going to want to work with you if they don't see, as my grandma said, if you don't got no skin in the game, then why are you expecting me to reach my hand and my neck out and my time, something that the time is something I'll never get back. So what you have to start asking yourself is saying, what steps are you going to take to get out your own way? And one of those things is overcoming that. You're always going to have some type of fear, which is great because it's a great motivator, but not allowing that fear to cripple you to a point of you don't take any move, because everything just seems so much, and now you're creating a sense of anxiety because you don't do anything. That's why I'm gonna give you guys the results of me working on my 8 critical tasks. Because again, when I was looking at the board, what I had about 20 items, I was probably averaging about 50%, if that. So it may be even a little lower than that. And so I want to see how well I do here. And if it works well, then we'll include that in my lifestyle. But if not, then I'll keep searching for something to get me closer to my goals, get me closer to, because it's all about systems, family. And once we start learning the systems, it will help our situations out much more. Well, family, I did say I wasn't going to talk your ear off, and I did it anyway. But I get excited about this stuff because when I get a chance to learn something and to develop and work, I want to just give it to the family to help them. So again, 3 quick takeaways. First one is look at that 8 critical task. Again, that was inspired by Andy with his 75 hard. Also, stop trying to create the perfect plan or the way to do it. Just go get started. I don't care how bad. Listen what I just dropped for you just earlier, man. And I'm not going to change it because I want to be able to listen back at that episode and say, wow, we come a long way. And the last and final thing, please, I'm going to get on my jet. Baby, please get out your own way, because it's bad enough people are already trying to stop you from being great. Don't you allow yourself to stop yourself as well. I've been your respectful host, ED, and this has been another Impact Secret Podcast show. Until next time, peace.